Hello, welcome to this video lecture. This is Naveen Mula, Assistant Professor of Physics, Nagarjuna Government College, Nalgonda. For the last 3 classes, we have discussed electrostatics. We started with the basics of electrostatics, concept of electric field lines, electric flux. Then we have gone through about Gauss law of electrostatics in our last video lecture. Now we are moving to applications of Gauss law in this video lecture. Before entering into applications of Gauss law, I just want to remind you the definition of Gauss law of electrostatics. The total normal electric flux over a closed surface is equal to 1 by epsilon naught times the net charge enclosed within the surface. Integral E dot ds is equal to Q by epsilon naught. Here, integral E dot ds is the flux coming out of a closed surface. It is a closed surface integral. And Q is the charge enclosed within that surface, net charge enclosed within that surface. We already learned about the importance of Gauss law. It is very useful in calculating electric field intensity as well as electric potential when there is continuous charge distribution. This is the major issue in calculating electric field, because Coulomb's law is only for point charges, and if the point charges are more also, it is very complicated because we need to use vector addition law for number of point charges and the electric field by each charge. So for such situations, Gauss law of electrostatics is very much useful. We will see some of the applications of Gauss law in this video lecture. Charge distribution is of 3 types. So we need to see what are the variables useful in each case. One is linear charge density. It is denoted by lambda. As shown in the slide, it is denoted by lambda because there are 3 possibilities. One is charge is distributed over a length of wire, or charge is distributed over a plane, or charge is distributed over a volume. That is, these 3 are the possible cases: linear, area, as well as volume. So we have 3 variables. We need to know them. That is linear charge density. Lambda is equal to Q over L. That is the charge per unit length. Surface charge density is denoted by sigma. It is Q over S. That is charge per unit area. That is, if a charge of Q is residing on an area of S, then surface charge density is sigma. Then volume charge density, rho, is equal to Q over V. That is charge per unit volume. Charge per unit volume. Okay. We need to use those variables wherever required. We will see those usage of those variables while we are discussing the applications of Gauss law. Before entering the Gauss law application, I just wanted to give the steps involved in Gauss law, because Gauss law states that the total electric flux over a closed surface, the total electric flux over a closed surface is equal to 1 by epsilon naught times the net charge enclosed in the surface. This is Gauss law. That means we need to see what is closed surface. We need to select that surface, and we need to calculate flux, and we need to equate that flux to 1 by epsilon naught times the charge. So the first step, we need to select a suitable surface, closed surface, for our situation. And then we need to have a representative elements, aerial elements. We'll see in the application anyhow. What is this representative element? What is the use? How to calculate electric flux? We'll see in the first application itself. Okay, then we need to calculate the total charge enclosed in that surface. Then we can easily substitute that in Gauss law. The first application we are going to see is electric field due to an infinitely long charged distribution. Electric field due to an infinitely long charge distribution. Let me show you. Yeah. Here, this curve, this line is infinite long charge distribution. A positive charge is distributed over an infinite length of wire. We need to understand what is infinite length. Infinite length means in this application, what I am trying to do is, from this infinite long wire, I need to calculate electric field intensity at a point P, which is located at a distance of R from this wire. For this point, the effect of charge is from here to here, let us assume. But the wire length is very, very far, very long wire. So the charge residing at here, where my pointer is showing, the effect of this charge on this point, the contribution of this charge for the electric field at this point is no. There is no contribution from this this charge. That means this is an infinite charge for this point. Okay, that means simply we can say a very lengthy wire. For that wire at a shorter distance at this point, we need to calculate electric field. So we can say this wire as infinite length wire with respect to this point. Okay, right now for this, what I am trying to do is I am using Gauss law of electrostatics. So I just wanted to take a closed surface. First step we discussed just now. We'll solve applications of Gauss law in 3 steps. The first step is to select a closed surface. For that, what I am selecting is, I am selecting all the points which are at the same distance from this wire. All the points which are at same distance from this point. Then we get a circle. And then like that, here, not only this charge, until this charge is giving effect of electric field at this point. So I am considering the area which is affecting electric field at P into consideration. I am taking such circles. I get a curvature like this, curvature of a cylinder. But this cylinder is open at this end and this end. In Gauss law, we need to select a closed surface. That is why I am even considering the both faces of this cylinder. You see, this is a cylinder shape. One face circular, other face is also circular. This entire thing is curvature. Here is our point. At this point, electric field is due to even this charge. So I am considering this entire cylinder. The wire is a very lengthy wire, but here at this point, the effect of electric field by this charge is, there is no effect. That is why null effect. So we are considering this cylinder. Try to understand, this is closed surface, curvature, and this end is shown in here, and this end is shown here. Okay, this is how we need to take our closed surface. This is a major area because how you are selecting the closed surface eases your work to apply Gauss law. Okay, now what we need to do, we need to calculate the electric flux coming out of this surface. The electric flux formula is E dot ds. So we need to select representative elements to calculate electric flux. What is representative element? Let me explain. What I am trying to do is I am taking a small element of area ds. At a time I cannot calculate electric flux over the entire curvature. So what I am doing is I am selecting at point P a small area of ds1 on this curvature. Okay. Later on, I will calculate electric flux coming out of this small element. Later on, I will integrate over the entire curvature. Then I will get electric flux over entire surface. Okay. Then what about phases? Even for phases also, I will consider a small element. I will calculate electric flux from that element. I will integrate over this phase. Similarly, here it is shown in the figure. On the curvature side, I selected an element of ds1 at point P, and on left side face end, I selected an aerial element, infinitesimal aerial element ds2. On right side end, I selected ds3. This is how we need to select. The first step is over. We selected the closed surface. Second step is also over. We selected the suitable aerial elements because these three will complete our closed surface. We need to select our elements like that. Okay, now I am going to use them. It is a linear charge distribution. So I am considering linear charge density term lambda. Just we discussed about lambda, sigma and rho. Here I am using linear charge density because the charge is distributed over a line here. Okay, I selected this and I will calculate integral E dot ds. Integral E dot ds2 plus this is left end, this is right end, this is curved surface. Electric flux over the closed surface. You will get like this: left hand, right hand, and curved surface. Okay, now we will see again in the picture. Electric field is always directed towards outside, radially outwards. Electric field is always directed towards radially outward. Wherever you take, electric field is directed radially outward. So even at this point, both in all the three cases, we find E, the direction of E as upwards only. You may get a doubt, sir, here due to this charge it is radially outward. What about this point? You may get a doubt like this. But the only this horizontal component of electric field works and the vertical components of due to this charge is cancelled away by vertical component of this charge. So and moreover, all the charge is symmetrical to this point. So where every point situated at a distance of r is symmetrical with this length of wire. So everywhere we find electric field intensity direction same. Now this is the direction. This is the direction of electric field intensity here. And I am considering end faces. First I am considering end faces. This is ds2, normal direction. Normal direction. The other day when we discussed Gauss law, we learned about the direction of area is nothing but normal drawn to that area. Anywhere, the direction of, because area is a scalar quantity, but we need to work with the direction of that area in this situation. So we consider the normal because we are calculating flux normal to the area. So we took this convention. The direction is normal. Here you see the direction of electric field is like this and the direction of area is like this. That means they both are perpendicular to each other. They both are perpendicular to each other. Similarly at this space. Then what happens if you substitute this in Gauss law? E ds cos 90. Cos 90 is 0. So at left hand, at right hand, the electric flux coming out becomes 0. The remaining thing is only curved surface. That means only through curved surface we are getting electric flux in this case. Okay, what is this curved surface? Surface area of a cylinder. Surface area of a cylinder of radius r and length L. Then the length of the cylinder is L. Then the surface area is 2 pi RL. I use this. Like this, we calculated electric flux coming out of this closed surface. Now we need to calculate the third step, that is charge enclosed in the Gaussian surface. Charge enclosed in the Gaussian surface. This is our closed surface. Charge is residing from this point to this point in a length of L. We know linear charge density lambda as Q by L. Per unit length, the charge is lambda. Then for small L length, the charge is lambda into L. So I am substituting this electric flux and charge in Gauss law. E into 2 by RL is equals lambda L by epsilon naught. We come across this equation. E is equals lambda by 2 pi epsilon naught R. This is electric field intensity due to an infinitely charged length wire. This is first application of Gauss law. We will see the second application, that is electric field due to uniformly charged infinite sheet of charge. This is about charge distribution in 2 dimensions. This application, earlier we saw Gauss law application for a charge distributed over a length. Now we are seeing charge distribution over a plane of charge, plane sheet of charge. Here also every time we use the word infinite means it is nothing but this is the sheet, this is a sheet, this is charge, and we need to calculate electric field at this point, very nearer point, suppose here. The effect of this area on this, the charge is uniformly distributed. The charge is uniformly distributed over the entire surface. So the effect of this area, the charge residing in this area at this point is null, because this is not in the field of this charge. So it is unknown to this. So for this charge, it is infinite sheet of charge. Okay, for this charge, we need to calculate electric field at certain distance. Now also, we need to consider the closed surface. First step, closed surface. Because to apply Gauss law, we need to consider closed surface. As shown in the figure, again, I am considering here at certain distance, we need to calculate at a certain, here we are not mentioning the distance r. Why? We'll see why. Okay, suppose here we need to calculate electric field intensity. For that, what I am considering is I am considering a cylinder like this, a cylinder, both sides. Okay, as shown in the figure. Okay, here it is as it is surface, we are considering surface charge density. Surface charge density sigma is equals Q by epsilon naught, Q by S, sorry. Surface charge density sigma is equals Q by S. What is a Gaussian surface? Cylindrical surface with area of cross section. Yes, area of cross section means how the, area of cross section. If we cut the cylinder anywhere, we get area of cross section. The end face area, cross section area, whatever you say, it is same. We are considering a cylinder like this, both sides. Okay, the area of cross section is yes. Now we need to calculate electric flux. For that, we need every time you consider cylinder, 2 types of representative elements are required. One is for this face and this face, because anyhow these both are symmetrical, so we can consider one single representative element for both the cases. And for entire curvature, we need to consider some other representative elements. What I did here is, here ds. I am giving same name here because they are symmetrical. End faces, I am considering representative element as ds, and for curvature, I am considering the representative element as ds2. Then we need to see what is the angle between E and ds. Here for the end faces, here this is a sheet of charge. Anyhow, electric field always directs radially outward. So this is electric field direction here, and this is electric field direction here. Okay, and the electric field direction is outwards. Even direction of area is also normal to this area. So here ds and E are parallel for the end cases. Unlike the earlier case it is cancelled. Now it is 0 degrees. Whereas for curvature, you take any area element, definitely the normal directs, normal means 90 degrees, and electric field is E. E is in this direction. So here the angle between E and ds2 is 90 degrees, and here the angle is 0 degrees. So what I am doing is, I am doing it to calculate electric flux. At curved surface, as the angle is 90 degrees, there is no flux coming out of this curved surface. So we need to consider only end faces. Integral E dot ds. Integral E dot ds. These both are symmetrical at same distance. So E is same. So I can bring E to E as a constant. Then we get integral ds. Anyhow, angle is 0, so cos 0 is 1. E integral ds. That means integral ds. Integral ds. That means total surface area of these end faces. Here it is S, as area of cross section is S. Here it is S, and here again it is S. S plus S, 2S. So E times 2S. Okay. So again, net charge enclosed in the surface. Net charge enclosed in the surface, because as we consider this closed surface, it is intersecting the sheet here. Only charge residing in this circular area, is a charge in the entire closed surface, because there is no charge in the outside. Only at this point of intersection we have charge. So the area is S. So for unit area, the charge is sigma. For an area of S, the charge is sigma times S. Sigma times S. I am substituting these two, electric flux and charge in Gauss law. On left hand side, integral E dot ds, we found it as E upon times 2s, E times 2s, and here for charge I am substituting sigma times S. What I get is E is equals sigma by 2 epsilon naught. Sigma is surface charge density. Epsilon naught is permittivity. Anyhow, epsilon naught is a constant. You can see here it is not dependent on the distance. In earlier case, when we discussed about electric field intensity due to a wire, we saw it is dependent on the distance. But here it is not dependent on the distance. It is uniform everywhere on both the sides. It is E is equal to sigma by 2 epsilon naught. This is the second application, and we need to know, we need to see one more application which is similar to this application, that is electric field due to infinite conducting sheet of charge. There is a thin difference between earlier application and this one. Electric field due to infinite charged sheet and electric field due to infinite conducting sheet of charge. You see here, this one is where my pointer is showing, that is already covered, that is infinite sheet of charge. Okay, here the charge is in a plane, so we consider on both the sides, and we arrived at a solution of Q, electric field intensity E is equal to Q by 2 epsilon naught. And this is somewhat different. A little difference is between this one and this one. Here is also charge is distributed over a plane. This is infinite conducting sheet of charge. Conducting sheet of charge. This is a conductor. What is the difference? We will see. If we charge a conductor, if it is charged, then it is also uniformly charged. But what happens? This is a conducting sheet of charge. Whatever may be the thickness, whatever lower the value of thickness of the conducting sheet of charge, what happens is, as it is conductor, the charge will reside only on the upper layer. Only on the upper layer. Here the charge is distributed, and here the charge is placed. If it is positive charge, the positive charge will be uniformly distributed over this place and this place. Between these two planes, there will be no charge. There will be no charge. As there is no charge, the electric field intensity at any point between these two layers, if we see like this, we will understand. If it is very thin, imagine it as a very thin, but we are seeing in microscope. Let us say here it is charged plane, here it is again charged place. Between this there is no charge inside this conducting sheet. So electric field is 0 inside, and on the upper face it is electric field will be there, charge will be there, and the lower face charge will be there. This is the difference between this application and this application. We saw this application. We calculated the electric field intensity as E is equal to Q by 2 epsilon naught. Here for this, what the difference is, if we consider this same cylindrical closed surface, I just give final expression here because everything is same. We need to consider cylinder here also as Gaussian surface, but we are not considering cylinder this side. We are considering cylinder only this side. Okay, because there is a discontinuity between this side and this side. Electric field lines will not come from the other side to this side. Electric flux means electric field lines coming out of the surface. Okay, from this side electric field lines will go radially outward, from this side also radially outward, but between these 2 points we have a discontinuity with E is equals 0. So there is no need of second phase. So if you see here, what we get, E into 2S is equal to sigma by 2 epsilon naught. Here we get E into S is equal to sigma into S by epsilon naught. So if S and S get cancelled away, E is equal to sigma upon epsilon naught. That means here the electric field intensity is double the electric field intensity due to a plane sheet of charge. An infinite sheet of charge, the electric field produced is equal to sigma by 2 epsilon naught. If it is a conducting sheet of charge, the electric field is equal to sigma by epsilon naught. That is, this is double for the other application. That is the difference in the calculation of electric field intensity for a plane sheet of charge and a plane sheet of conducting sheet of charge, conducting sheet of charge. Okay, what we did in this video is we saw 2 applications of Gauss law, and it is very much easy to apply Gauss law if we follow a concrete set of rules. That is, first one, we need to select the closed surface area. We are considering the closed surface area. It is very, very important. We need to consider our closed surface area in such a way that it gives clear idea about the electric field intensity E and areal direction ds everywhere, so that there is no condition about considering Gaussian surface area. It is our will. So we need to consider the Gaussian surface in such a way that it has to suit our situation, as well as we need to give representative elements in such a way that it covers entire the surface area, and it must be very easy to calculate the total charge residing in that closed surface area. If we keep in view of these points and follow this structure, it will be very useful in calculating electric field intensity. In today's video, we saw the calculation of electric field intensity only, but it is also useful in the calculation of electric potential, because there is a relation between electric potential and electric field intensity. So we can even calculate electric potential using Gauss law. Okay, with this, I am going to stop this video, and in the next video, we will see the other applications of Gauss law, that is three-dimensional distribution of charge, that is a spherical charge distribution or a cylindrical charge distribution. We will see the Gauss law application in three-dimensional distribution, charge distribution, that is we need to consider rho is equal to Q by V, volume charge density there, and then we will see how to derive Coulomb's inverse square law from Gauss law. Okay, we will see in the next lesson. Thank you.